All right, so gold did exactly what I wanted it to do. So we're gonna jump in now. We're gonna take a look at everything and make sure that everything is above board. So let's actually get straight into it. Something that I want you to remember with gold is a lot of people think that gold really and truly only supposed to move up, all right? And that's not the case because again, obviously, there must be equilibrium within the market, right? There must be some kind of balance. So let me show you something I found to be really interesting. So I don't know if you remember, but this I had this analysis where I thought that gold would get up to this level, this gap, uh, and clear the gap, and thus obviously continue to be bullish, right? But what is interesting is it never did that. In fact, gold continued to go bearish, right? And clear out the sellers before going down. Now, why is that important? The sellers being cleared out marked, for me, the sign that gold was not going to continue to buy. Because as I mentioned yesterday and the day before, if I'm not mistaken, in this very live analysis, I do this whenever I can. It marks the sentiment that if sellers are being targeted, the market wants to sell off. The only reason the dealer will attempt to get rid of uh sellers would be to sell, right? Whoever or wherever the market is targeting, those are the traders or those are the players that the market is trying to get rid of so that they could actually do that. Now, the this is where we left yesterday, right? We left yesterday with this move here, and look at what happened. Case in point, right after this move, we had sellers stop losses being taken and the market selling off, just like I said it would, right? Um, what is it doing now though? Is gold actually attempting to go back up? A lot of people would say, well, maybe you could try to start to buy because it looked like it rejected the low. You see that it looked like that to me is a problem. And the reason it's a problem is because I'm not sure that this actually is in momentum at this time. And I don't know about you, but I am not comfortable with I'm not sure. I'm not comfortable with maybe. I'm not comfortable with might. It might happen. I'm not comfortable with it could maybe kind of possibly do no. What I'm interested in is taking trades that I have a high potential or high success rate, high chance of winning, right? And anytime I feel like I don't think I could win, I'm not going to try. I've said this 1,000, a million, a billion times at this point. I am only taking trades that I think I can win. So, based on what we're seeing here, can we trade gold based on what I just told you? No, because I don't think it is in momentum. In fact, I actually think that over the last maybe 8 hours or so, 4 to 8 hours, it's been in consolidation. This is what, from 1:30? Yeah, from 1:30, from 1 o'clock to present. That's about 8 hours. Gold pretty much has been in consolidation. Now, is this consolidation of the truest form? No, because actually it is creating higher highs, or and higher lows or something like it. So it is going up, but it is still within this range that is having problems getting beyond, right? And my issue with that is at this time, I can't use it because it actually tells me that every time I try to break out or try to get above this, it's failing, right? And something you have to also remember, the market tells you what it wants to do. A lot of the time, the market actually tells you what it wants to do. It mightn't say it in English or Spanish or French or whatever language you speak, right? But it actually tells you by having you or forcing you to look at what it's doing and think about what it's likely to do. It's a language. And your job is to translate that language into something you understand. My question is, yes, it's creating higher highs and higher lows, which means that it's probably trending, right? But is it a momentum? And if you know me and you've been following me for any duration, you know that I believe that there's a difference between trend and momentum. Momentum is clear. Momentum is here we're going on. We decide that we're going up. Don't hold me back. Don't frustrate me. I am going one way. Don't tell me what to do. When the market decide on where it's going, trust me, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Right? Realistically, there's nothing you can do to stop it regardless. But I digress. Right? When market is in momentum, it is clear. There's no question about it. You just know. when the market is trending, you can have slow trends, you can have fast trends. You can have trends where they literally go up and then they come down, and then they go up, and then they come down, and then they go up, and then they come down, and yes, it's creating a trend, but it's slow, right? And there's a lot of pullbacks in between to verify that trend line. Momentum is not like that. Momentum is where market does something like this, right? It's much more diagonal, right? It's much, I would actually not even use the word diagonal. I'd say it's much more vertical, right? The market just decides, I want to go up, I want to go down. That's it, right? Now, do I believe that, do I believe that gold will buy from here? To be honest, I don't think so, no. Now, today's Friday. Today's the 9th of May, 2025. Today's Friday. I'm not sure. I don't believe that we have any news events today. Let me just verify that quickly for you. So Forex Factory, refresh the page, and today's Friday. So no, so there's no red folder news events. So I don't think that there's any real catalyst to drive price to do anything crazy today. And maybe it could without any, I mean, obviously the market can do whatever it wants, whenever it wants, without any real catalyst, aka news event or red folder event. But I don't see the market really doing anything interesting today. As I would have mentioned in previous videos, every day you can go and try to fish, but not every day you're going to catch fish, right? Every day is a fishing day, not every day is a catching day. In this case, I still believe gold is somewhat bearish, and thus we have to kind of wait a little bit. Now, also keep this in mind. If you remember, gold has been bullish for a while. And it is important, as I mentioned at the start of this video, it is important to remember that as much as we want gold to only do one thing, buy, 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 as much as we want that, you have to remember it has to sell off at some point because the market needs to find that equilibrium. And what is even more important, you remember when you buy in and you're making money, what are you doing? You're actually buying from sellers, eh? And that equilibrium needs to happen because there needs to have a balance. You can't buy anything infinitely. Eventually, the storage is going to run out. The person who's selling his stock, unless he's completely, every time you buy, he's replenishing his stock. Eventually, he's going to sell out, right? That's kind of what's happening here. I think that gold ran out of sellers, right, to have traders buy from. And obviously, it needs to sell a little bit to replenish stock so that buyers can then come back in and buy, right? So that's what this is for. This here is actually design is by design. This is not it's not a mistake. It's where traders are actually trying to force the market into a state of how to explain it? Trying to force the market into a state of finding its own equilibrium. You understand? So I don't think I don't think it is going to go back up at this time. I do believe it is going to continue to sell off, and we have proof of that where the market would have recently taken out sellers and then dropped. If we look at it, if I were to drag this zone right here, that's probably the next area I feel like the market can try to target and get rid of. Because we know that this is the last area price had broken and gotten rid of traders. So you know what I could actually draw here? I actually feel like I could see something like this. All right, let me make that dashed. Why did I make that so big? Let me make that, oh no, let me make it dotted. And let's make that 1 pixel. Yeah. So that's what I think I could see here. Let me put a little tag. I believe this is the next possible move. Next possible move. And we're good with that, right? Because I can move this here. And I do believe seller stop losses are still in this area, right? So this becomes seller stop losses. Does everybody understand that? I hope that you understand where I'm going with this, right? The magic in this setup is, or the magic in the way that I do this setup is that you're not going to find me engaging, in this or with this until I feel like I actually could win. So even though I think it's going to sell, that don't mean I'm going to sell. That don't mean I'm going to engage in sells. Why? Because one, I'm not bullish, right? I mean, I'm not bearish. And two, even though I am thinking that it is going to sell, I don't have confirmation or proof of that, right? So I'm not going to try to engage. So people might ask, so B, what about if it starts to do this and then it really starts to drop? Wouldn't I sell because this would be momentum? Yes, it would be momentum. No, I would not sell because again, remember, I am bullish on gold. If I am bullish on gold, yes, I could sell. The problem is not if I could sell, it's for how long, right? And something you will learn in momentum-based markets, such as gold, and you could see that momentum defined here. Something you will learn is you can absolutely sell something like gold. Absolutely. The problem is not if you could sell it, it's for how long, right? Because at any point in time, you can decide, you know what? All right, I think we've replenished our stock enough. So let's start back. Let's resume the sales. We could start back selling to the buyers and giving up our positions. You understand? Do you remember the buyers in gold will always win long term until gold decides to actually turn into a bearish market. And when that happens, well, then we could maybe change the frame of mind into thinking that yes, we could probably sell gold long term. But right now, I don't see that as a possibility, right? So I hope you understood. That's my sentiment for gold today. I am not engaging with it, and I am not going to engage with it because I don't see any value. I don't see the value in trying to, attack and make money from it. And something I want you to remember, this is very important. Something I want you to remember. Take trades that you think you could win. If you do not think you could win the trade, do not take the trade. That is the best advice I could give you. Anytime you are taking a trade and you don't know if you could win it, then you're taking a bad trade. Doesn't matter if it is the strategy suggests to take it. If you do not think you could win it, do not take the trade. I promise you, you will have a very, very bad time long term if it is you applying that methodology. Your strategy could say, maybe you should sell here, right? But you are looking at it and saying, I'm not sure if I'm going to win this. And the thing is, the thing is, most traders know we have enough intuition to kind of get an understanding of, yeah, this might work out, right? We know. We just don't like to listen, right? And that's human beings for you in general. We know the answers to the questions we ask. We just don't like listening to ourselves, right? We don't, right? So, me personally, I try my best to listen to myself. I try my best when my brain asks a question and my subconscious answers, I try my best to listen to the subconscious, right? It has protected me from myself because that's what you're really fighting. You're not fighting me or other traders. You are fighting yourself. I've done my best to try to listen. So, and it has protected me from myself multiple times. So, I hope that you understood this one. I hope that you grabbed something, learned something. Again, obviously, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Have a good one. See you very soon, guys. Peace out.